Hey guys, today let's go and check out this 2014 Range Rover Sport. This particular one is the HSE model. This is actually a new to me vehicle, so this is a used 2014 model that I just got. It has around 45,000, 50,000 miles on it, so it's pretty worn down, I would say. But let's go and take a look and see what you expect from a 2014 Range Rover Sport. So let's go and get started. And first things first, here's a key. It's a classic Range Rover key. Not much has changed. There's a lock unlock button and also a turn on the headlight button at night. So let's say you're walking up to the car and you want the lights on, you can go and press that once to turn it on, press that once to turn it off. Let's go and walk around the car first, take a look at it. Expect more videos regarding this car, updates in terms of service, maintenance, all the problems I have with it, and all that good stuff. So let's go and take a look. So as you can see, this car is black on black with the black rims. We'll talk more about these afterwards. Let's go and check out the car first. So as you can see, first things first, the mirrors are folded, and I can go and put the key away because this car does have a smart key access. How that works is just go and grab the door and it unlocks, push the button and it locks. So also another feature that this car has, because it's the HSE model, it actually does have soft closing doors. So basically soft closing doors, all you have to do, you don't have to slam the doors or anything, you just go and lightly push the door and it goes ahead and sucks itself in. Let's go and check the interior out. Inside, this car has like a beige interior, basic HSE format. This car is pretty well equipped. So the seats have heated ventilation, all these adjustments. So as you can see, these are the side bolsters, and also the lumbar support, which is pretty cool. The car is a little messy inside, even though I just washed it. It was a little muddy before, but I'll put a picture somewhere in the video, you'll see. So let's go and hop in and check it out. So hopping in, we see basically the good old Range Rover Sport interior. This has not changed too dramatically for any new Range Rover Sport. So basically the only difference is this screen is bigger with a much better software. We'll talk about that later as well. And this entire panel got replaced by a touchscreen to control the climate, your seat heater, your seat ventilation, things like that. So first things first, let's go and start it up. So just step on the brake and push the button up here. So this particular one is a supercharged V6. It doesn't have the V8, nothing like that. It's actually a very nicely equipped car though. Let's go and shut the door so it stops making that noise. So as you can see, when I shut the door, everything comes together back to my memory drive, or back to the stored settings. First things first, this leather wrapped steering wheel with the power telescoping steering column, as you just saw. So this one's heated as well. This one has the cold weather package, which also means another feature is in the windshield, you're probably not able to see it, but basically there are some fine lines in here. And basically what that is, let's see if we can try to focus. There we go. So you can see these lines, and what those lines are is it's basically a front windshield defroster. That button's down here. You also have your rear defroster and things like that. So this is the inside of the car. We'll come back to it. Let's go and turn on the lights first and check out the exterior, because there's a decent amount to talk about. So first things first, outside, this one has the black metallic paint, which is really nice. These are the standard wheels. However, these have been painted black. So these don't come black normally, but they have very big sidewalls, which I find as a nicer thing, even though it handles worse. So these are 20-inch wheels. Yep, these are 20s. In my opinion, the black on black works really well. So coming to the back, we have all LED taillights. So everything but the reversing lights are LED. This was actually pretty rare back in 2014, so I like that a lot. Underneath, we got our two exhaust pipes. We got our sport badging with the HSE logo. So the HSE logo was one step up from the bottom. So the bottom's the SE model, it still is. On top of the HSE, there's a supercharged, there's an HSE dynamic, as well as the top end autobiography and the sport model, the SVR with the V8. Walking down the side, we got the same thing on this side. I really love that crease line down the middle. One thing to note, as you can see, it's still a little dirty. I did a terrible job washing the car. But you can see we have our LED turn signals in basically in the mirror, as well as our 360 camera. So this is actually part of a package. So again, I mentioned this car is pretty highly spec'd. You'll see one camera on each mirror, one camera in the back as well. When we come down the front, you'll see two more cameras up here, one, and then also one on the other side right there. So in terms of the front of the car, things to notice is LED turn signals with the LED signature light, HID light bulbs. These aren't LEDs unfortunately, but they do have auto high beams, which is again a pretty nice feature considering this model year is a 2014. LED fog lights, again, lots of use of LEDs on this car, which I like personally because I love LEDs. So let's go and hop in and check out more of the inside. Alright, let's go and hop in. So coming inside, I think first thing to note, well, first let's turn off that annoying hazard light. So basically inside, I guess, first thing to note is let's talk about this screen. This screen is the worst touchscreen in history. This thing is very bad. So I never use it. All I use it is Bluetooth streaming. Basically, if we take a look at the map, continue, we'll see how bad, look at how bad that map is. It's just terrible. And what's even worse is the cameras. Even though there are a lot of them, let's go and put it in reverse. As you can see, the camera quality is terrible. You can't see anything. It's very pixelated. So again, I mentioned this car has the optional camera, so I can go and click here, and I can go and click on the views. Actually, sorry. So this is for your sensors, front and rear. And then if I go, actually, let's put it in park. If I go click on this button, which not all Range Rover Sports have, so this is if you have the optional cameras, going to click on that, you can see there's a junction view. Sorry for the amount of dust, by the way. And then you can also see a curb view. So this shows you what each tire is doing. You can see everything very well. This is actually very useful considering how wide this car is. So this car is insanely wide, and parallel parking and fitting through tight spots, this is definitely a plus. Coming down the side, we can also see there's a parallel parking button. So this is for the automatic parallel parking. In 2014, again, this was a pretty nice feature to have, which I never use because it's terrible, but it's there. Coming down, we have our climate control. Let's go and turn that on. It's actually pretty hot. If we click climate, that shows up on the screen. So we can choose like all the different modes, where we want it to go, sync or whatnot. The button beside it, hazard lights. This is a pretty nice button. So this button right here brings up the seats, so you can heat or cool the seats to 3 different levels. You can also choose the zone where you want the heat or the cooling to go through. So this car's cooling seats is actually one of the better ones. So I've noticed some cars, they do a very bad job at actually cooling. So I like it a lot. I use it actually on a daily basis because I do live in California, and it gets pretty warm. So coming down, we have some more niceties. Gear shifter. This is a traditional gear shifter that the F-Type, the Range Rover Sports now use, and certain things like that. Basically, a lot of cars use like this electronic trigger style now. We can see we have our terrain management. So this car does not have the extra option of the low range, which would appear as a button here, which would offer more suspension travel, more off-road capability. But this car still does have a descent control. So if you're going down a steep, slippery hill, that's a very good feature to have. Coming down, we have more driving modes. This car does have air suspension, so I can jack the car up or keep the car at its entry height, which is in right now. Auto start stop. This one's basically like a low speed cruise control, but I've never used it and I do not understand how to use it, but it's there. We have a traction control off button, very fun in the snow, but also a very nice big fat metal parking brake underneath. And then if we turn the camera over this way and open this up, we can see that there's a cigarette lighter as well as a switch. You might ask, what does that switch do? Well, if I go and open this part up, it's actually a refrigerator, or rather a cooler. So that's pretty cool. I've never had a car that had that, so that's nice. It's especially nice on long road trips when you put water or Red Bull in there, which is what's in there right now. You also get one USB port. Unfortunately, because of the 2014 model year, we don't get anything such as Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but that's okay. That's expected for a 2014. Coming up top, we have our dome lights that are touch sensitive. I've had some issues with these. There we go. Oh my goodness. I've had some issues with these. Sometimes they don't work. And the one in the back left actually is always on when I turn on the car, which is very annoying at night. But I can deal with that. We have our sunshade as well as sunroof control for our panoramic moonroof. This was an option. I'm not sure if it's standard on the HSE, but this is a very nice feature to have. I love this panoramic sunroof. All right, that's the front. Let's go and step in the back. Oh, great. Soft closing doors. Oh, also not to mention, it has blind spot warning. So that's part of the HSE package. I believe they made it standard now on the SE as well, which is very nice. So let's go come to the back seat. In the back, lots of room. It's a SUV after all. Let's go and hop in here. Oh, it's very nice seats. One nice thing that I found was how this center armrest folds down into a very nice big, it gives you like almost a sitting in a comfy chair like armrest, because it's very big, which is not usually the case for center armrests that folds down. Back here we have our heated seats, we have our air vents, we have a nice little tray, and all that good stuff. But back here it's pretty plain and simple compared to a 2017. I'll do more in-depth comparisons afterwards, but this is just a brief overview of what's on the car. There's going to be a lot of videos coming about this car. Anyways, the back seats are also reclinable and blah blah blah, all that good stuff. Let's go and pop the trunk. So it is a power tailgate. There's no kick function. This car is a 2014 after all, so no kick function. And basically back here we have our cargo cover, which if we pull back reveals a relatively large trunk. So for the size of the car, I actually found the trunk to be somewhat unusable. Okay, it's not unusable, but there's a lack of space. It can be much better used. We have our nice rubber mat back here. And also one thing to point out is these two buttons. So this car is actually opted with the optional third row. So as you can see, I can go and put them up. But right now I won't, because there's a mat and then also the cargo cover's in the way. So let's take a look at that in the future. Also in the future, I will mention how this camera got wired, because it actually took some effort and I didn't really know how to do it. So let's go and shut that. Just gonna push the button. Overall, this car is actually in great condition for how many miles it has and the year it is. So I actually love this car a lot. I've driven it around 5,000 miles already. So stay tuned for some updates, because I did buy an extended warranty for this, and we all know how Doug DeMuro's extended warranty worked out for him for a Range Rover Sport, especially considering this is a 2014 model year, which is the first of this generation. So thank you guys for watching this really brief video. If you guys want any more Range Rover Sport content, feel free to comment on what you want to see, what do you want to know, and things like that. And stay tuned for more videos on this as well as upcoming cars. Thanks guys.